Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, and I am the Horror Shark. And today, I am going to be taking a look at the movies I watched in the month of August in 2022. I'll also have a September video out this year for the movies I watched during that month, hopefully. Because right now, I'm suffering from some injury. I have back pain from lifting some stuff that was too heavy, and I hurt my back. And then it just got worse. But it's getting better now, better enough that I can actually sit down and do a video, which is what I really wanted to do. So, with that being said, I am definitely going to try to make more videos, as well as try to start anew in January for January to the end of the year to do a video every day. But hopefully I can, because it's tentative. If I can get enough videos done beforehand, then I'll definitely do it. But it's a big undertaking. I've tried it once before. I made it to December. That was just such a sucky month of that year, because it was like, hey, I'm almost done. I almost did a video every day of the year, and I fell asleep and it was past 12 o'clock, and I was like, son of a gun! And then I fell back asleep, so there's no way I can make another video. So, anyway, with that being said, also that was on my other channel, but with that being said, let's start talking about the movies I watched in the month of August 2022. So the first movie I watched was Prey. Now, I watched Prey twice, and I actually really like it. Some people are very against this film and its protagonist, and while I don't believe a Native American tribe would allow such a thing, I do like how they didn't make her a Mary Sue, where she is instantly badass. She's more so trial and error. She'll try to do these things, try to master her skills, but fail several times until she finds a new, unique way to take care of it. So it's actually pretty clever. It's not like, oh, we have no creativity in the script, we have no faith in this movie, so let's just do it like she's a badass from the start. No, she has to earn her way. Prey is an awesome movie. Great kills, great predator design, which I actually found out after watching the movie that it was originally a practical effect in a practical suit, but they overlaid it with CGI. It doesn't look like it really was overlaid with, but it's hard to tell. The second movie I watched was Open Water. I have a little disclaimer to make. Shark Week 3 Survival was supposed to be this year, starting in September, but things came up. I got really busy and I couldn't complete it. So I want to have Shark Week 3 and 4 next year, hopefully, and definitely try to get those films out. Maybe even have Shark Week 3 at the end of this year, or early winter, late winter special, who knows. Really looking forward to doing Shark Week 3. Open Water as its own. It's pretty creepy in certain areas, but I do think that it's very raw. It doesn't make you feel nice. Like at first you see this beach footage and B-roll, and them enjoying themselves, and you're like, okay, yeah. But then they cut to a scene of them in the bed and they kill a bat, or try to kill a bat, and it's like, what was the point of that? You get several of those kind of scenes throughout the film, where they do something, or there's a scene that's pointless, and they kept it in the damn movie. It's a pretty intense watch. Third one I watched was King Boxer. Now, King Boxer, also known as Five Fingers of Death, is going to be my review series for the Shawscope Brothers box. I hope to get them all reviewed by December 6th, because the second box comes out, and I really want to do that one. But I want to review all the other ones first, and there's like 20 movies, so I gotta get cracking. But I did write a review and record a review for King Boxer, and I also watched it, of course, because I can't do a review without watching the movie. King Boxer is awesome. I do prefer the title Five Fingers of Death, though. To each their own. If they prefer King Boxer, I totally understand, because it is fitting for the movie as well. It's a martial arts action movie from, I believe, Hong Kong? I might be wrong. But damn is it awesome. There is some excellent fight choreography, but also it's very cheesy in some areas where you can clearly see them being pulled up with wires to fly through the air. It's martial arts. Phony martial arts, but martial arts. The fourth movie I watched was The Raid. I've seen this before. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And now we watched it again. And to watch the second one, because we're like, we want to watch the first one to get more into the second one. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. So we watched the first one, me and my brother. And my dad, actually. And it is a brutal movie. And the fight choreography is just top tier. You can't really go wrong with the Raid movies. There's only two of them. I wish they made a third, but I kind of don't. Because I heard the story of the third one wouldn't be that great. And it wasn't that great. But the Raid is just a beautiful work of art. Very gritty, very disturbing in its violence, and it's just a powerful, raw movie. The soundtrack is really good, too. It's done by Mike Shinoda, who was also, I think, yeah, he was a member of Linkin Park. I don't remember which kind of member he was, or what kind of member he was, but he was definitely in Linkin Park. The fifth movie I watched was Deadbeat at Dawn. Now, much like Prey that month, I watched Deadbeat at Dawn twice. Now, Deadbeat at Dawn, man. It is just, it's a powerhouse. It's definitely a artsy action film of the low budget kind, but it definitely tries to be something all its own. It's not going for, let's just do the same thing all the action movies or gain movies do. Let's just do something that's unique. And they definitely succeeded in that. It's a brutal, bloody, savage movie that makes you feel for the anti-hero, who is definitely swaying more towards the anti-side. That's halfway through the list. Now, before I continue, up here, past my head, is movie palettes. This is a movie palette for Jaws. Basically, each color is a scene that represents the movie. So it's like they took the whole movie, stretched it out into a canvas size, and just took the colors and sewed them on there. It's a very meticulous job, and I'm glad to have it as a sponsor. Definitely check them out, and if you want to, go to moviepalette.com and use the code SHARP15 to get 15% off your order. Check it out. Now let's continue. The sixth movie I watched was The Raid 2, and oh my god. Now, I watched this twice. Yeah, I did. Okay. I had to think for a minute. Because I watched it the first time right after The Raid 1 the next night, and it was amazing, but not as good as the first, I didn't feel. But after watching it again, it goes by much quicker, because you already know what's going to happen. The tension the first time watching is very taut, and you kind of get lulled into the fact that it's a very slow-paced movie in certain scenes. But then when you watch it a second time, it's like, okay, so I know what's going to happen. The question is, how fast will it happen? And it happens surprisingly quicker this time around. But the fighting is still very long and very brutal. I was watching it and been like, oh, it's already been an hour? No, it's been an hour and a half. I was like, holy crap. It's a fast-paced movie. It's all over 2 hours long. I'd say it's about on a par or better than the first. It's hard to tell, but it is amazing. It's definitely more of a more complex story than the first. So that kind of gives it a couple points over it, because the first is a very simple story. It's a raid movie, literally. Like, it's called The Raid, it's about a raid. The seventh movie I watched was Shark Waters. Now, this was an Asylum production, and I don't think it was that bad. It had a good amount of shark action. There's some bloodshed, not too much, but there's a twist, or a reveal that happens later in the movie that I was not expecting. Because they go out to find the people who are trapped on the boat on the Shark Waters. And they find something, and it's like, oh, that's not what I was expecting. That's actually clever. Good job. I was surprised by that. The CGI isn't too bad either. I was happy when watching Shark Waters. Not really aggravated. There are some certain character actions that aggravated me, but not too bad. It's a decent watch. The eighth movie I watched was The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. I felt like turning this on. It was on Amazon Prime or something like that. Like, why not? I'll watch it. What's the worst that can happen? And I was like, captivated. I thought I was going to fall asleep halfway through. But I was into it. I was really into it. I've seen it dozens of times probably by now. And it's always a really hard movie to watch. It's very realistic and raw. I keep saying raw this time around, but it is. A lot of these movies on this list are raw. From The Raid to Deadbeat at Dawn to The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's got its staple and its foot planted firmly in horror history, and I think that it deserves that spot. It's probably my favorite 1970s horror film, next to Jaws. Jaws is top for me, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, best slasher film of the 70s? I hate to say so. I know Halloween is, like, loved and cherished, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre for me, it's more of a watchable movie. The ninth movie I watched was Maneater, not based on the video game. Oh my god, this movie sucked. I had some expectations. Well, the MPAA rating came out, and I was like, okay, so let's see. Oh, there's gore in the movie. That's not really common in shark movies anymore. There's usually like violence, creature violence, bloody images. And then you watch the movie, and you're like, oh, okay, so I'm going to be surprised by some gruesome shark kills, but terrible CGI and bad characters. What I was given was decent characters at best, passable, I'd say. Bad acting, especially from the main lead, the heroine, or heroine. I don't know how to say it. Really bad CGI, a really bad shark puppet they use, and some minor gore. It's from the same studio, I think, was Sabin, who released Requiem, which I heard was really bad, but I've seen clips of that, and it looks worse than this, but still, I think I'd watch Maneater over Requiem any day. And Maneater is a bad movie. The 10th and final movie I watched was Open Water 2. Adrift, aka characters make really bad decisions for 90 minutes. People are like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, that's smart. No, there's multiple different ways they could have gotten back onto the boat. They just chose not to take any of them. They decided to freak out the whole time, which is understandable, but there's 6 of you. Not one of you thought to, take that knife and jab it into the little slot and use it as leverage to get back onto the boat. Instead of you had to use a piece of the scuba eyeglasses, the goggle glasses, It was bad. There was no sharks, absolutely no sharks at all in this movie. There were no sharks. No sharks at all. There was a mention of, like, oh, there's a shark under the water, and I can feel it. And he looks down, he says, it might be there, I guess. He says it might be there, or it is there, but they don't show it. The characters are what try to drive this movie, and some of them work, some of them don't. And most of them don't. So it really hinges on that. My review that I'll do is going to be really in depth about it, so definitely stay tuned for that. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Those are the 10 movies I watched in the month of August 2022. Let me know your thoughts on any of the movies I mentioned here. Did you enjoy any of them? Did you dislike any of them? That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. Lion Brian Gatto, the Horror Shark. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon, or even $1 a month will help keep this channel going on strong, and I greatly appreciate it. Plus, you get access to body counts and other music videos that you cannot get on YouTube because of copyright and age restriction. Monetary support, if you want to support the channel through PayPal's horrorshow37@gmail.com, I greatly appreciate that too. But if you don't want to support me with any money, just hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And as always, subscribe. Blah, blah.